He bought an $11 hangar, expecting scrap. The ancient warship's guardian was terrifying. Eli Navarro wiped the sweat from his forehead as he stepped onto the dusty floor of the abandoned auction hall. The building had been empty for decades, its walls cracked, windows clouded with grime. A faded sign outside read, "Old Hangars, Final Auction." Somehow, among hundreds of rusted scraps, he had managed to snag a hangar for $11. Most people had laughed at him. "Worthless," they had said. "You'll get nothing but dust." He had a feeling, a spark, that told him there was something more here. He didn't know why, and he didn't have proof. But he had learned over the years that gut instincts could pay off more than any scanner or price list. And today, that gut was screaming. He pushed open the heavy metal door of Hangar 47, and the smell of rust and decay hit him. Broken crates and twisted metal littered the floor. Sunlight streamed through the holes in the roof, illuminating the dust floating like tiny stars. But Eli wasn't looking at the debris. His eyes were drawn to the center of the hangar, where a shadow larger than life rested beneath a tarp. As he stepped closer, Eli felt a strange vibration in the air, a pulse that seemed alive. He hesitated, hand on the tarp, and then yanked it away. What he saw made him freeze. It was not scrap, not by 1,000 light years. It was a warship, ancient and enormous, unlike anything he had ever seen. Its hull was dark metal, scratched and scarred from battles long past. Strange alien symbols were etched along its surface, glowing faintly with a light that seemed almost natural. The ship's design was not human. It was intimidating, precise, and terrifyingly beautiful, a perfect blend of war and art. Eli's heart raced. He had expected old scrap, maybe a few engines or panels he could sell, but this was a legend hiding in plain sight. Before he could touch it, the hangar vibrated, a low hum growing louder. A voice echoed from everywhere and nowhere at once, deep and metallic. "Intruder detected. Identify yourself." Eli stumbled back, eyes wide. The voice was massive, almost like the hangar itself was speaking. And then a figure appeared, an enormous holographic guardian, glowing with blue light. It had multiple arms, each ending in strange tools or weapons, and a head shaped like a crown of spikes. Its eyes glowed with intelligence, with judgment, with something that made Eli's stomach knot. I'm Eli Navarro," he stammered. "I bought the hangar. I'm not here to steal." The guardian didn't reply immediately. It tilted its head, observing. Then, with a flash of light, lasers shot from the walls, narrowly missing Eli. He dove behind a crate, his heart pounding. "This is worse than I thought," he thought. "This isn't just a ship. It's alive." He peeked over the crate. The guardian's holographic arms moved, scanning the hangar. Every step Eli took was tracked, every movement analyzed. He realized then this was no ordinary AI. It had been guarding this warship for centuries, waiting for someone worthy, or foolish, enough to enter. Eli gritted his teeth. He was both terrified and exhilarated. He had always thrived on danger. This was the kind of opportunity every salvage expert dreamed of. He needed to act fast. Carefully, he approached the control panel near the ship's entrance. The panel flickered to life under his touch. Symbols danced across the screen. Some he could read, most he could not. He tried to interface with it, pressing buttons and swiping the holographic icons. The guardian stiffened. Its voice rumbled like thunder. "Do not touch. This vessel is restricted. Intruder will be neutralized." Neutralized? That sounded bad. Real bad. But then he remembered something his mentor had once told him. Machines respect intelligence, not fear. He spoke aloud, steadying his voice. "I'm not your enemy. I just want to understand. I can help you. Please, let me." For a long moment, the hangar was silent. Then the guardian spoke, almost curiously. "Is a human trait. You may be tolerated, but prove yourself worthy." Before Ellie could respond, the floor shook violently. Hidden panels slid open, revealing traps, spinning blades, energy fields, and high-powered turrets. Eli rolled, ducked, and ran, his heart in his throat. He realized the Guardian wasn't just observing. It was testing him. He sprinted toward a stack of crates, using them for cover. He needed a plan. Hiding wouldn't work forever. Then he noticed something. A pattern in the Guardian's movements. It moved like a predator, anticipating his steps, but it had a rhythm. If he could understand it, maybe he could outsmart it. Eli's mind raced. He recalled old schematics of human battleships and alien AI systems he had studied. The Guardian's movements were precise but predictable, following logic. Logic could be tricked. He tossed a crate across the hangar. The Guardian's sensors followed it. A pause, then it fired at the crate. Perfect. He had learned its pattern. Now he could move. Using his knowledge, he danced through the traps, rolling, ducking, and leaping. Sparks flew, metal groaned, and the hum of the warship grew louder. Eli reached the entrance of the ship and, with a deep breath, touched the main hatch. The ship shuddered. Lights blazed across its hull. A panel opened, revealing an interior that was vast and impossibly advanced. Walls pulsed with energy conduits, holographic controls floated midair, and the air smelled faintly of ozone and old metal. Eli stepped inside, feeling a thrill he had never felt before. This was it. This was the treasure he had dreamed of his whole life. The Guardian followed, its holographic form now inside the ship. It studied him silently. Then, in a voice that vibrated through his chest, "You are curious, persistent, perhaps worthy." Eli swallowed hard. Worthy. That word made his heart pound. He had survived the tests, navigated traps, and earned the first hint of respect from a machine built to destroy. He walked further into the ship. Screens displayed star charts, battle logs, and alien scripts he couldn't read. Yet among the chaos of technology, he saw something familiar. A human symbol, scratched into the metal, almost like a signature. Someone, or something, had been here before, and it had left a message for humans. Eli's mind raced with possibilities. Could this ship have been waiting for him? Could humanity, so small and underestimated in the galaxy, actually claim a weapon designed for gods? The Guardian spoke again, almost softly. "You will pilot me. But first, you must understand, I am not a tool. I am a being, and I will judge every choice you make. Fail, and you die. Succeed, and you may change the fate of your species." Eli felt a thrill unlike any he had ever known. Fear, yes, but also exhilaration, purpose, and destiny. He nodded. "I understand," he said. "I'll learn. I'll prove I'm worthy." The Guardian's eyes glowed brighter. The ship's systems hummed to life. A ramp extended, docking clamps released, and Eli realized the hangar was no longer just a building. It was a launch platform for legends. Outside, the sun was setting over the dusty colony, painting the sky with streaks of red and gold. Eli looked at the horizon and smiled. He had no idea what awaited him. Ancient enemies, impossible battles, or secrets older than humanity. But one thing was certain. He had taken the first step into something extraordinary. And somewhere deep within the ship, a mechanical heartbeat pulsed, a heartbeat that had waited for human courage to awaken it. Eli Navarro, armed with nothing but his wits and determination, had bought a hangar for $11 and discovered a weapon that could change the galaxy. The Guardian observed silently, its glowing eyes reflecting both judgment and anticipation. For the first time in centuries, it had encountered a human it did not immediately dismiss. The adventure had begun. Eli Navarro had not slept well. He barely noticed the colony's twin moons rising over the horizon as he paced inside the ancient warship. The hangar below, once a quiet and empty building, now felt alive with hums, flashes, and the subtle vibrations of engines that had not stirred in centuries. He had spent hours exploring the bridge, running his fingers along alien consoles and trying to decipher the holographic symbols. Some screens displayed star maps older than human history. Others showed fleets of ships, massive and terrifying, in formations that made his head spin. The ship's Guardian AI watched him silently, its towering holographic form shimmering near the bridge's ceiling. It no longer attacked him, but its presence was constant, almost like a guardian watching a young child near a powerful weapon. "You learn quickly," the AI said, its voice deep and metallic. "Few have survived the tests, fewer still. Understand the purpose of this vessel." "I want to understand," he said. "I need to know what I'm dealing with. I don't want to break it or myself." The Guardian's eyes glowed brighter. "Purpose, protection. I was created to defend the ancient fleet. You awaken me at a time when my enemies may return." Eli froze. "Enemies?" The AI's voice grew colder, like steel scraping against stone. "The fleet I once fought is not gone. It watches, it waits, and it remembers." Eli's heart skipped a beat. A fleet that had survived eons? Ancient weapons beyond imagination? He had not bought scrap. He had bought a ticking galactic nightmare. The first test. The next day, Eli attempted to learn the ship's systems. He discovered that every console responded differently to human touch. Some screens required patterns, some sequences of logic, and others demanded a sort of intuition. The AI guided him, but never fully explained. "Human creativity is unpredictable," the Guardian said. "I cannot anticipate every choice. That is why I observe and judge." Eli tried a maneuver on the ship's engines, adjusting the power flow through an alien protocol. Sparks flew from the consoles. The hum of the ship became louder, almost like it was pleased. "You are bold," the AI said. "You do not fear consequences. This may serve humanity or destroy it." Eli grinned, feeling alive in a way he had never felt. This was not a scrap ship. It was a giant waiting for a pilot who could think beyond rules. Intruders arrive. Eli's training was interrupted by the sound of alarms. Red lights flashed across the bridge. Outside the hangar, other salvage crews had somehow tracked him. They were not interested in history. They were interested in profit. And they were armed. Eli watched from the bridge's viewport as hovercrafts descended, weapons gleaming. His first thought was panic. But then the AI spoke. "Do you wish to defend the vessel?" "Yes," Eli said without hesitation. "Then observe and act," the AI replied. The ship's defense systems activated. Hidden turrets emerged, energy shields shimmered, and drones swarmed into position. The intruders opened fire, but the weapons bounced harmlessly off alien armor. The Guardian moved with precision, but it did not kill, at least not yet. Eli realized that the AI had a sense of judgment. It could destroy them easily, but it chose to teach, to test. Using the chaos, Eli accessed the ship's targeting interface. He rerouted power to the defense turrets, aiming them at the intruders' hovercraft engines. Sparks, smoke, and explosions erupted as the salvage crews were disabled one by one. None were killed, but they were forced to retreat, scrambling to survive. The moment passed. Silence returned, broken only by the hum of the ancient engines. Eli exhaled. "You are resourceful," the AI said. "You combine logic with instinct. That is rare." The hidden depths. After the intruders fled, Eli decided to explore the ship more thoroughly. The hangar's interior was enormous, far larger than its exterior suggested. Corridors twisted like a maze, and rooms appeared and disappeared around strange folds of alien architecture. In one chamber, Eli discovered a storage vault filled with relics of the ancient war, weapons that could obliterate moons, ships smaller than fighters, but armed with devastating power, artifacts that seemed to store energy in ways humans had never imagined. He realized that humanity, if he learned to use this ship, could suddenly hold the keys to galactic power. The Guardian followed silently. "Do you understand the responsibility?" it asked. "I think so," Eli replied, eyes scanning the room. "If humans misuse this, it could destroy everything. But if we use it carefully, we could protect worlds, maybe even change the galaxy." The AI seemed to pause, its holographic form pulsing. "Your species is fragile, chaotic, foolish, and yet you survive where logic fails. Perhaps you are worthy of partnership." A signal from the void. As Eli studied the relics, a strange vibration shook the ship. Panels lit up with unknown symbols, and a deep, rhythmic pulse reverberated through the hull. The AI's voice became urgent. "They are coming." "Who?" Eli asked, already sensing the answer. "The enemy fleet. They have detected the activation of this vessel. They sense that their rival awakens after eons of dormancy. You have drawn their attention." Eli's stomach dropped. He thought he had been careful, quiet, a small human piloting a hangar's secret. Now, the galaxy itself had noticed him. Outside, sensors picked up blips, massive ships emerging from deep space, their shapes alien, terrifying, ancient beyond imagination. Eli stared, speechless. The AI spoke again, its voice echoing through the corridors. "You have awakened something far greater than you imagined. This is your first test of strategy and judgment. Humanity's strength will be measured, not by weapons, but by creativity, daring, and instinct. Do you understand?" "Yes," Eli said, gripping the console. "I understand." The first flight. The hangar doors opened automatically. The ship's engines roared to life, shaking the floor as massive turbines hummed with power. Eli climbed into the pilot's seat, his hands trembling slightly, but his mind sharp. The Guardian's holographic form appeared beside him. "You will learn quickly, or fail quickly. But I have observed your species long enough to know. You are unpredictable. Perhaps that unpredictability is your greatest weapon." He was ready. He pushed the throttle, and the ship lifted from the hangar, moving into the open sky. The colony below shrank, and for a moment he felt like a child on a roller coaster, terrified, thrilled, and alive. Sensors blared. The ancient fleet was approaching faster than anything human technology could match. Eli scanned the ships. Massive, armed to the teeth. Dozens of them, hundreds perhaps. But he noticed something the AI hadn't mentioned. They moved in patterns, predictable, rigid patterns, like soldiers trained for war, but unable to adapt. Eli smiled. This was the chance humanity had always been waiting for. Brains over brawn, speed over strength, creativity over tradition. Humans against legends. The first enemy ship fired. Energy beams streaked through space toward the warship. The shields held. Eli realized he had one advantage the ancient fleet didn't expect. Humans do not fight like machines. He could think differently, move differently, break the rules. He darted the ship in unexpected arcs, using the alien architecture of nearby asteroids and debris as cover. The enemy hesitated, unable to anticipate his improvisation. One by one, he disabled drones, dodged attacks, and learned the limits of the ship's weapon systems. The AI's voice, now calm but impressed, said, "You understand now. Humanity is unpredictable, clever, adaptable. Perhaps you are the key to survival." Eli grinned. He had only just begun, and already he could feel it. Humans were underestimated, and they would be remembered. Cliffhanger. The ancient fleet regrouped, forming a massive, intimidating wall across his path. Behind them, countless stars blinked coldly, silent witnesses to the beginning of a battle that had started centuries ago. Eli's hands tightened on the controls. He knew the first engagement had been only a test. The real challenge was ahead. The Guardian's eyes glowed. "Prepare, human. The galaxy will remember this day, and you will decide whether humanity survives or becomes dust among the stars." Eli took a deep breath, his mind sharp, his heart steady. He was no longer just a salvage expert. He was the pilot of a warship older than most civilizations, humanity's chance against legends long thought dead, and he would not fail. Eli Navarro's heart raced as the massive fleet of ancient ships loomed in front of him. The stars behind them seemed to pale, swallowed by the immense darkness of their hulls. These were no ordinary warships. They were relics from a war long forgotten, weapons designed to wipe out entire worlds. Yet here he was, one human pilot, alone in a hangar-borne warship older than many planets. The Guardian AI hovered beside him in holographic form, its glowing eyes studying the fleet. They are massive, they are precise, they are relentless. But they lack one thing. What's that? Eli asked, his hands steady on the controls. Imagination. Adaptability. You human are unpredictable. That is your weapon. Eli smiled grimly. He had one shot, one chance to prove that humans, small and fragile compared to these ancient machines, could still turn the tide. First engagement. The enemy fleet opened fire. Beams of concentrated energy lanced through space, and Eli could feel the power through the ship's hull. The ancient shields held, but just barely. He remembered something from the AI's previous lesson. These ships moved in predictable formations. They relied on repetition, on precision, on patterns honed over centuries. Humans did not fight that way. Eli pushed the controls. The warship darted sideways, spiraling unpredictably through asteroid debris near the system's outer edge. The ancient fleet faltered for a fraction of a second, enough for Eli to strike. He fired the ship's first weapons, concentrated pulses aimed at the fleet's engines, but not to destroy. They were to confuse and distract. Explosions erupted on the enemy ships as their formations wavered. Impressive, the AI said. You do not just react, you create opportunity. That was humans in a nutshell. The aliens had power, but humans had ingenuity. Turning the battlefield, the battle escalated. Dozens of enemy ships advanced, forming a wall of death. Eli realized he could not face them head-on. But then he noticed something. Debris fields from ancient wars, satellites, asteroids, wrecks, floating nearby. He had an idea. AI, I need full sensor access, he said. Granted, the AI replied. Holographic projections lit up the bridge, showing every obstacle and potential advantage. Eli piloted the warship through the debris with impossible precision, leading the enemy into tight spaces they could not navigate easily. One ship collided with a massive wreck, another was trapped between asteroids, and a third was disabled when Eli tricked it into firing on a reflected energy field, backfiring its own weapons. The ancient fleet had firepower and size, but humans had creativity. That small edge was all Eli needed to survive and gain momentum. Unexpected ally. As the first wave of enemy ships fell back, a signal appeared on the ship's sensors. It was faint, almost imperceptible. The AI froze. They are sending a warning. Someone is watching this system. Someone ancient. Eli leaned closer. Can we respond? They are not friendly, the AI said. With careful maneuvers, Eli activated a holographic broadcast, not a weapon, but a signal of intelligence. The observers responded, not with fire, but with data. Logs, maps, star charts. Humanity had stumbled into a larger galactic web of power. The fleet chasing him was only a piece of something much bigger. Eli's mind spun. Humans had walked into this galaxy as small players, and yet here he was, holding secrets older than civilization itself. Improvised tactics. The second wave of enemy ships approached faster, more coordinated than the first. Eli knew he could not rely on luck again. He studied their patterns and realized they were rigidly following formation protocols. If he could break their rhythm, he could gain the upper hand. He activated the ship's maneuvering thrusters in a pattern the AI described as impossible for standard alien logic. He spun the ship through 3 axes simultaneously, weaving unpredictably through the debris. The enemy fleet fired blindly, wasting energy on empty space. Eli then launched small drones from the warship, each equipped with simple disruption pulses. The drones moved erratically, impossible to track, causing enemy sensors to misfire. One by one, their formation collapsed. The Guardian AI's holographic form flickered. Incredible. Humans adapt instantly. You do not simply obey rules. You bend reality to your will. This was more than survival. This was proof that humanity could compete with legends. The trap. The enemy fleet had underestimated him, but they were intelligent. The third wave arrived, this time with a change in strategy. The ships ignored the debris and aimed for a direct assault, weapons blazing with destructive energy. Eli realized that he could not outmaneuver them all. He needed to turn their strength against them. Scanning the area, He noticed a nearby asteroid belt filled with remnants of destroyed ships from centuries ago. He plotted a risky course. "AI, can we make the asteroids move?" he asked. Indirectly, the engines can generate focused gravitic pulses to alter trajectories slightly. "But it is dangerous," the AI warned. "Dangerous is my middle name," Eli muttered. He activated the gravitic thrusters. Massive rocks shifted, just enough to form a trap. The enemy ships, following straight lines and predictable paths, collided with debris, ricocheted, or had their weapons backfire. The battlefield transformed from a simple duel into a chaotic, living environment, controlled by Eli's clever planning. The enemy had raw power. Humans had strategy and improvisation. HFY moment. Eli realized something then. Humans had always been underestimated. On countless worlds, other species had dismissed humanity as fragile, unpredictable, weak. But here, in the vastness of space, human courage, creativity, and risk-taking had turned the tide. The Guardian AI's voice changed, almost reverent. "You are not like other species. You combine unpredictability with intellect. You create solutions where logic fails. Perhaps this is why your kind survives." He had never felt so small and yet so powerful at the same time. One human, a single mind, had manipulated a warship older than most civilizations to defeat ships designed to crush worlds. The ancient secret revealed. After the battle, the enemy fleet retreated, leaving a trail of wreckage. Eli knew this was only temporary. The Guardians and the fleet had ancient intelligence. They would return smarter and stronger. As he checked the warship systems, the AI projected a hidden chamber onto the bridge. Inside were ancient records, star maps, fleets, and a weapon system even the AI had not shown him. "This," Eli whispered, "this could change everything. Human civilizations. If we learn to use this, guess," the AI said. "But the enemy fleet will not forgive ignorance. They seek control. They seek destruction. You must train, adapt, and lead. Your species' future may depend on it." Eli's jaw tightened. He had survived 3 waves of attacks, outsmarted a fleet of legends, and unlocked secrets older than human memory. But he knew the galaxy would test him even harder. Cliffhanger. A signal flashed on the ship's sensors, more urgent this time. The AI's eyes glowed red. "They are returning, faster, larger. They have brought reinforcements. Your next trial will not be simple improvisation. It will be strategy, sacrifice, and human ingenuity against forces you cannot yet imagine." Eli gripped the controls, heart steady, mind racing. He had learned one thing. Humanity was underestimated, yes, but underestimated species often became legends. The warship hummed around him, a giant waiting for its pilot to act, its guardian watching with judgment and anticipation. The ancient fleet's next wave appeared on the horizon, and the stars themselves seemed to dim under the weight of its approach. Eli Navarro, human and small, against cosmic legends, smiled. This was only the beginning. Eli Navarro sat in the pilot's seat of the ancient warship, staring into the void. The enemy fleet had returned, larger, faster, and more organized than before. Their shadows darkened the stars, massive vessels bristling with weapons older than humanity itself. He could feel the weight of the galaxy pressing on his shoulders. Beside him, the Guardian AI shimmered. More than just a hologram, it was a presence, an ancient intelligence judging every thought, every decision. "They have brought everything," the AI said, voice low and serious. "Your species faces extinction if we fail." "Do you understand the gravity?" "I do," Eli replied, hands gripping the controls. "But we have one advantage. Creativity, adaptability, the thing they cannot predict." The AI's eyes glowed brighter. "Very well, you will lead. I will follow, but heed this. One mistake, and all humans will be lost. Are you ready?" "I've never been more ready." The first strike. Eli launched the warship forward, faster than anything he had ever imagined. The enemy ships unleashed a wave of energy beams, yet the shields held. He had spent the last days learning the warship's movements. mastering its engines, and listening to the Guardian's guidance. Predict their pattern, the AI advised. Their formations are precise, but rigid. Use that against them. Eli grinned. That's what humans do best. He led the fleet into a gravitic minefield, a section of space filled with ancient wrecks and floating asteroids. The enemy, powerful but rigid in thinking, struggled to navigate. Collisions rocked some of their largest vessels. Smaller ships were trapped or forced to break formation. Humans did not just fight. They manipulated the battlefield. The Guardian watched silently. They are learning. Adaptable, unpredictable, impressive, alive. Eli felt a surge of pride. For centuries, humanity had been underestimated. Now one human pilot, guided by instinct and creativity, was changing the balance of power. Turning defense into offense, Eli realized the enemy fleet had never encountered a pilot like him. They relied on precision and firepower. Humans relied on improvisation. He activated the warship's energy projectors, but instead of firing at the enemy directly, he created illusions, holographic duplicates of his vessel darting through the battlefield. The enemy fired blindly, wasting energy on nothing but illusions. Real ships were moving unpredictably, striking weak points in the enemy formation. Eli directed every move with a mix of instinct and calculation, and slowly the tide began to turn. Your species is remarkable, the AI said. Your mind is not bound by logic. That is your strength. And it's about time someone noticed. The enemy strikes back. Just as victory seemed near, the enemy revealed their secret weapon, a massive capital ship, larger than any Eli had seen, bristling with energy cannons capable of destroying planets. Its presence shifted the battlefield, and smaller ships fell back, protecting it like a king's crown. Eli knew he could not destroy it by brute force, but the AI whispered a strategy, one that required absolute trust in human unpredictability. Use the debris. Use the asteroids. Use your mind. Strike where they do not expect, it said. He maneuvered the warship through the asteroid belt again, weaving through impossible gaps, launching small drones as distractions. He lured the massive ship into a narrow passage between two colossal asteroids. The enemy fired blindly, but the asteroids shielded the warship. At the last moment, Eli triggered the warship's energy projectors, focusing them into a single, concentrated pulse aimed at the enemy's exposed engine array. The massive ship shuddered, unable to compensate for the unpredictable attack, and exploded in a blinding flash. The smaller enemy vessels faltered, some fleeing, some retreating to regroup. Humans had turned the impossible into victory through ingenuity. HFY moment, humanity's ingenuity. Along realized the full power of what humans could achieve. He had faced machines built for war and destruction, millennia ahead of human technology, and survived, not because of weapons alone, but because humans adapted, improvised, and risked everything. The Guardian's voice, softer now, carried a rare warmth. Humans, you are unlike any species I have observed. You survive where logic fails. You create where others destroy. Perhaps you deserve the future. Eli looked out at the stars, the enemy fleet in retreat. He felt the thrill of victory, but also the weight of responsibility. Humanity now had the power to shape the galaxy, but with that power came immense danger. The secret revealed. After the battle, Eli accessed a hidden chamber deep within the warship. Ancient records, star maps, and logs of battles long forgotten filled the room. Among them, he discovered a device pulsing with energy, capable of controlling fleets, shields, and perhaps even worlds. This is beyond anything humans have dreamed of, Eli whispered. The Guardian replied, voice heavy with reverence. It was built for war, but in the right hands, it could protect. And now, the choice belongs to humans. Eli felt the weight of the decision. Power like this could make humanity unstoppable, or destroy it if misused. He understood now why the Guardian had waited centuries. It had sought a species clever, brave, and unpredictable enough to wield it responsibly. The final challenge. As Eli contemplated the discovery, the remaining enemy fleet regrouped. A single signal reached them, warning them, of the warship's full awakening. They were returning, bigger, more organized, and aware of humanity's capabilities. Eli gripped the controls. "We've won battles, but the war isn't over," he said. The AI responded, "Then we fight. But remember, human, this is your strength. Adapt, improvise, and act without fear. You decide the outcome." Eli nodded. He felt the warship hum beneath him, alive and ready, a partner in human ingenuity. Together, they would meet the fleet head-on. The final confrontation. The enemy fleet advanced in perfect formation, weapons blazing. Eli weaved through the chaos, using the warship's full capabilities: shields, thrusters, drones, and energy projectors. Each move was unpredictable, bending the rules of warfare the enemy had followed for centuries. One by one, the enemy ships fell into traps. Asteroids reflected energy fields, and coordinated strikes from drones controlled by Eli. The fleet was powerful, but it could not predict human ingenuity. The largest enemy vessel, the capital ship that had terrified him before, charged at the warship. Eli waited, watching the trajectory. Using the last of the gravitic thrusters, he redirected a massive asteroid into its path. The capital ship collided, sending energy spikes cascading into nearby vessels. Chaos erupted in the enemy fleet, and Eli seized the moment. With a final, daring maneuver, he unleashed the warship's most powerful energy pulse, disabling the remaining ships without destroying them completely. The enemy fleet retreated, their confidence shattered. Eli exhaled, sweat on his brow, heart racing, but he felt victory like no other. The Guardian's choice. The warship's guardian appeared before him, its holographic form glowing softly. "You have proven the impossible. Humans are extraordinary. Courage, creativity, adaptability. Your species has earned respect. I choose to serve with you, to guide and protect, should humanity require it." He had not only survived, but he had earned the trust of an intelligence older than most civilizations. The Guardian was no longer terrifying. It was a partner. "You won't regret this," Eli said, voice steady. "Perhaps not," the AI replied. "But beware, others will notice, and they will come." HFY Ending Humanity, remembered. As Eli piloted the warship back toward the colony, he looked at the stars. Humanity was small, fragile, and underestimated. Yet, against odds that would have crushed any other species, humans had prevailed. Ingenuity, courage, and unpredictability had triumphed over raw power and centuries of experience. Eli knew the galaxy had changed. Humanity had awakened a weapon older than civilization, survived battles no one expected them to survive, and proven that being underestimated could be humanity's greatest strength. The Guardian AI projected a map of the stars, showing human colonies, alien civilizations, and uncharted territories. Eli smiled. The galaxy was dangerous, yes, but now it was full of possibilities. The warship hummed beneath him, alive and waiting. Together, human and Guardian would explore, defend, and perhaps one day shape the galaxy. Eli Navarro, a single human pilot who had bought a hangar for $11, had done the impossible. He had awakened legends, outsmarted fleets, and shown the galaxy what humans were truly capable of. The stars stretched endlessly before him, but one thing was clear. Humanity would never again be underestimated, and somewhere deep within the warship, the heartbeat of a machine older than time itself pulsed steadily, acknowledging the cleverness, bravery, and spirit of its human pilot. The adventure had ended, for now, but the legend of humanity had only just begun.